Hello, beautiful people. This is our next lesson, and it's about gross and net pay. And I can't think of a more relevant thing to be doing for maths just generally, because there is not a human on this planet, or at least in Australia, that won't, in some way, shape, or form, have to learn the difference between gross and net pay. That is because we all pay taxes. And so, this lovely sheet, as I've said earlier, organised by Judy Burns from St Mary's Casino, amazing, beautiful lady. The crux of it, the base of it, is these new words that we've got: net pay, gross pay, and deductions. And this idea of net pay is just gross pay minus deduction. Now, what are each of these? Well, your gross pay is how much you get. For example, if you earn, just say, $10 an hour, that's your gross pay. But what actually happens is you get that gross pay and then deductions are taken out. Okay? So deductions are just pieces of that are taken out. And what are these things that are taken out? Well, they can be like your health fund membership, donations, loan repayments, superannuation. Compulsory deductions are things like tax, childcare or child or maintenance payments, HECS fees if you're a uni student. I know that I've been paying HECS fees, or should I say I've only just finished paying HECS fees. And so this idea of net pay is really how much you end up with, how much you take home, as opposed to how much you earn. If you earn something, little bits get taken off, tax and so forth, and then it's basically what you're left with. Really, the more you earn, the more deductions you're going to have, because the more tax you're going to pay. And so the question we're going to look at is this one. These questions you're going to realise are fiddly. They tend not to be hard. They just tend to be fiddly. And so here we've got Todd earns $26 an hour for a 40-hour week. He has deductions as follows. He has this much tax. He's got a weekly car loan. He's got a weekly donation. He's got HECS fees, and he's got child support. And so what's his gross pay? Let's take out my calculator here so that we can see it. Where are we? Okay. So his gross pay is how much does he earn per week, okay, before the things are taken out. So his gross pay here a little bit out of focus, it seems. His gross pay is $26 an hour. I'll just write GP is $26 an hour for a 40-hour week times by 40. So how do we do that? Of course, straight into the calculator. 26 multiplied by 40 equals 1,040. What? $1,040 per week. Oops. Let's try again. Having trouble with the old focus today. Here, that's a bit better. The next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the deductions. So what are his deductions? And we see per week, should I say, he's got $13,093 PA. What does PA actually mean? It means per annum. Okay, it means per year. So first, let's just figure out what his tax is per week. And we assume that there are 52 weeks a year. And remember, we assume that. So tax per week, if we have $13,093 per annum divided by 52, 13,093 divided by 52. So per week, 251.7884. Remember, we want to round off to the cents, and so that ends up being 251.79 cents per week. Now, you'll notice everything else here, I know it says child support and it says HEX fees, but we assume because of the amount that they're per week. Everything else is per week. That was the only one that wasn't. And so now we can add them all up. So deduction equals 251.79 tax, 108 for his car loan, $10 donation, $130 child support, and we also have $53 HEX. You can just whack all of that straight into the calculator. 251.79 plus 108 plus 10 plus 130 plus 52. $552.79 per week. Now I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. Oops, we can't, that's out of frame. It ends up being $550.79 per week. I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here, and I'm going to write per as in with a fraction of biculum week. All right. And so now we have to figure out the net pay. Well, we know the net pay because of our formula before. Net pay is just your gross pay that looks terrible. Gross pay minus deductions. So our net pay is just $1,040 minus $552.79, which is, I'm just going to be a bit cheeky here because this is already in the answer. I'll do 1,040 minus the answer, which was $552.79, and we end up with a net pay of $487.21. Now, some of you are going, that can't be right. Some of you are saying that cannot be right. You can't earn over $1,000 a week and then take home less than half of that. That's impossible. But unfortunately, it is possible. Your parents probably do the same thing right now. After loan payments and all that, you end up with very little spending money. You know, that's the nature, unfortunately, of how the system works at the moment. And so, what percentage of his gross pay is paid in deductions? So how much of that, or what percentage is that of that? That's really what the question is asking. How much of the gross pay, how much of that is paid in deductions? Now some people find this very, very difficult, but when we're doing any form of percentage, it's what we're looking at divided by the total times by 100. So it'd be 552.79 divided by 1,040 multiplied by 100. So your percentage is what you're looking at, so your gross pay divided by the total pay. Let me say it again. Deductions divided by gross pay multiplied by 100. So that's right, 552.79 divided by 1,040. Now, some of you might just look at the decimal and go, oh yeah, I get that. Some of you might need to multiply by 100, and we end up with 53.15%. So 53.15% of your gross pay, or should I say Todd's gross pay, gets paid in deductions. Poor Todd.